back. Another episode of Under Contract, you guys. As always, I'm super excited to bring you fresh, relevant content. Hopefully it educates you. Hopefully it empowers you. The one thing that I'm really, really adamant about, as you know, and it's the whole reason Under Contract was born, was the commitments and contracts you make to yourself. Honor them, right? So many people make contracts with themselves. So many people make commitments, but very few actually follow through with them. Hence the reason we put together Under Contract. I highlight individuals, entrepreneurs, businesses, stories that will make you stop and think about the commitments you've made to yourself. And today, or at least recently, we've been on this trajectory of being more authentic, being more transparent. If you know me, and if you've been following me for a while, you know I'm an open book. I don't gatekeep. I'm super vulnerable, super transparent, almost probably to a fault. But I feel like if I don't share my story, it would be selfish. And today, my guest is exactly that, but in the male form. I wanted to talk to the fellas today. I feel like we cater to the women and men in a good balanced way, but today we're talking to the fellas. Women, this might resonate with you as well, because of course, when you're remaining authentic to yourself, when you set out to commit to do something, to make a change and really change, and you honor that, it's amazing what can happen in your life. And this individual that's on today is not only a fellow real estate agent, he's been in the business for over 5 years. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Correct.
He is with a local brokerage, a very successful brokerage. He himself is very successful. He's an author, even though he doesn't like that word. He likes to say create, but he's an author. Truly, where credit is due, credit is due. This is his book, and we'll talk about this during the podcast and where you can get this. Not only that, but he happens to have a platform that is so powerful. It caught my eye, which is why we're here today. And he really has a message that I feel like not only resonates to men, but to women. It resonated with me because I'm on that same journey. And what struck me about this guy, and his name is Louis Pisano, I'll butcher it, I'm sure I will, is he doesn't hold back. Like his content is so rare, so raw, that you feel like he's speaking to you, and that's what makes it special. So I thought to myself, I'm going to get this guy on the podcast. I want to talk to this guy and learn about what makes him tick. So welcome.
Wow.
That was a big one, I know.
That was, I'm going to have to bring you on tour. That was amazing.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, right? When I interview people, I have to do my homework. Right, because obviously, I mean, even though I have the gift of gab and I can talk about anything to anyone, but truly, your content, your journey, your story, your why, I feel like most men, and we're going to cater to the men because this is what this is all about.
Yeah.
How do you stay true to yourself, right? So how did all of this come to be? How did you know, what does authenticity look like to you today? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, so it's a great question. One, thank you so much for having me. Very, very blessed to be here. Very excited. I'm excited for this journey with you.
Love it.
And I appreciate the intro. It was very kind of you.
Yes.
I was on a podcast a few weeks ago with a friend of mine who's based out of Miami. Shout out to Lana. Your Conscious Concierge is her podcast. Phenomenal.
Love that name.
I would actually have to connect you guys because it would be perfect for you guys. Her and I, we grew up together back in Ocean Township, New Jersey, where we're originally from. And something kind of made us rekindle our friendship and just catching each other's platforms and stuff like that. One thing that I have lived by since probably 14, 15 years old was that I have known for a very long time now, 20 years later, whatever I have wanted out of life would 100% be all on me. Not to say I haven't had support along the way and haven't had people to help me and stuff like that, but I know instinctively and intuitively the level of where I was at life at that point in time compared to where I knew I was capable of getting to and where I ultimately want to be down the road when all is said and done was going to be all on me. And I knew that I couldn't, it's not that I couldn't rely on other people. It's I didn't want to be somebody who had to rely on other people to have a life that they wanted.
Big difference.
Big difference.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where you can, I say it all the time, is the villain and the hero have the same starting point. And at the end of the day is no matter what you've been through, no matter what life has thrown at you, no matter the cards you're dealt, no matter what you're born into or the surroundings that you're kind of born into, it's 100% on you to change the scope of that to get to a better life.
Right.
And that's kind of something that I've honed from a very young age in circumstances that weren't so favorable to me.
Right.
Where I knew that I had no other choice but to fend for myself.
It's interesting because there's such a theme with, I think, social media right now and the platforms in the self-help world and this, the self-awareness that no one's going to come save you.
Not at all.
Right. At the end of the day, You can bitch and moan all you want about bitching and moaning with what you can complain, you can murmur, you can do whatever you want, but that only empowers that, right? No one's going to save you. And whether it's called adulting or otherwise, the bottom line is this. You set out at an early age that, hey, listen, however this life that I have right here in front of me is going to manifest, it's on me, period. At a young age, it sounds like.
Yeah, again, around 14, 15 years old.
How did you have enough wherewithal to know that? Like,
So so one thing that I'll start with is up until 7 years old, I had the all-American family. Everything you could dream of up until 7 years old.
okay.
Then things just kind of fell off the cliff. Everyone's got their stuff. Everyone's got their
Yeah.
family traumas. Family fell apart. A lot of things, a lot of moving parts. And as I was a teenager, which again, going to therapy for 3 years helped me identify this is where
Yeah.
these traumas came from, had a lot of abandonment issues. As a teenager, had a mother, had a father, had 2 brothers. One brother was living with my mom. One brother lived with my dad for the most part, and I lived with my grandmother, which is by far the best thing that could have ever happened to me in that point of my life
Right.
because of the path that it sent me down.
Yep.
And rest her soul, my grandmother is 90% of why I am the person and man that I am today. But at the same time, a grandmother can only do so much for a teenage kid, right? So, I was kind of in a scenario where didn't really have a choice. I played the victim mindset a lot. Woe is me. The world hated me. I had all these anger issues. I had a lot of depression that I hid with a smile on my face. All the things, right? And it wasn't until years later where that kind of subsided. But it got to a point where, regardless of your circumstances,
Right.
your actions and decisions is what's going to dictate your life.
That's right.
And at the time, for me, it was follow the path, go to school, graduate, try to get to college. If not, figure it out from there, and just see where life is going to go.
Yeah.
And I was a very angry kid growing up inside, not on the surface. On the surface, the personality, the
All
social
that
butterfly,
appearances,
all
yeah.
that appearances. By 17, 18, 19, alcoholic,
Oof.
like drinking 8 days a week if possible.
Wow.
It got to a pretty bad point by the time I was 19, 20 years old.
Wow.
A lot of other factors. Anytime something went wrong in my life, right to a bottle of liquor, no matter what it was.
Wow.
While I was still in college, I eventually got to college, but it became something where that was my escape.
Wow.
And I got to a point where I woke up March 2nd, 2013. I was just about to be 22 years old, looked at myself in the mirror, and I would have been happy if I didn't wake up that day.
Didn't like yourself.
I hated myself. And that was one of the many turning points in my life where I was like, dude, you're going down a terrible path even though you're in school. You're going down a terrible path and you have a decision to make. And so that day, I was very overweight. I was very plump for my size, my height at the time. I was an alcoholic. I was always working out. So that day, right after that moment in the morning, I worked out in my bedroom for 4 hours. And it was this huge like epiphany and endorphin rush where I was like, cool, now's the time I changed my life.
Wow.
And over the next 65 days, I completed a workout challenge called Insanity Fitness by Sean T.
I remember
I
that.
lost 15 pounds. I lost 10% body fat. I stopped drinking for 6 months, and my life just flipped.
All in a matter of a mindset.
All in the matter of a mindset. I got fed up with who I was.
Yeah.
And there's a turning point, especially for men. Men,
Yeah.
this is for you.
Yeah.
The day that you can no longer tolerate your own bullshit is a day that you can finally change your life. And March 2nd, 2013 was that day for me.
Preach and amen. That goes for women too. I noticed that on your platform, your faith is very important to you.
It is now.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing
It is
how
now.
it takes us to go through that nonsense to but God's always been there, right?
Always
That's
been
the
there.
thing. Yeah.
I
I know you talk about faith and self-growth a lot. How do those two work together for you, or do you think that they work together?
They do,
They do.
100%. And to kind of preface, I grew up Roman Catholic, Italian from New Jersey.
Same.
Right?
Super
Italian
stand up, sit
family.
down, stand up,
Oh
sit
my
down.
gosh.
I was so tired of that.
Bruised knees, like suited and
can't.
booted, catechism every Tuesday for 13 years,
so over
confirmation,
it.
like all
I
the
was-
things,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
When my grandfather passed away, who was like, that kind of the gel for the church because he was involved in the church back home in Jersey, that kind of went away from the family. And after that, for a good, honestly, 10 to 20 years, the only ever time I was ever really in a church after that was for funerals or for weddings. And as I had the victim's mentality, my family deteriorated and fell apart, and all the things around me were falling apart throughout my adult, adolescence years and stuff like that, I got away from God. And it was one thing where did I always believe in God and like afterlife? Yes, I have. But did I believe in going to Him for everything? No.
No.
And to speak candidly, when I moved out here in 2018 with my then girlfriend, we agreed to get back into some sort of church life. We slowly did, and then turned into my fiance, who ended up leaving me 4 years ago. And
Okay.
that was the turning point of my life where,
As an adult?
as an adult, as the switch flipped again, where I was a shell of myself. I was uncertain about my life, my future, my identity. I lost all purpose for everything. No matter what else was going on in my life, it broke me in a way where I didn't know human beings, especially men, could break.
Let's stop right there because I feel like this is a new territory for men.
Mm-hmm.
Men don't oftentimes get wrapped up in all of that and
Right.
feel like when they lose or when they have lost, whether it's a relationship or otherwise, that their whole world has been rocked because
Yeah.
they're surface oriented is I'm the man, I'm strong, I can do this, I've got this. But you had enough emotional bandwidth to know because of your experiences prior that holy crap, I've
Yeah.
lost myself again. Like here I am at how old?
At that point, that was 4 years ago, so 31 years old.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you were an adult enough to know what was going on. Your world was rocked again. So you made a contract with yourself at a younger age, right? Fast forward to, I'm sure a lot of things happened between,
About 15 years later.
right? 15 years later, you made another contract with yourself after that breakup, right? So was that, whatever was happening to you at that point in your life, was that when you kind of recommitted and said, hey, dude, I'm better than this. I'm effing not going to go through this again. Like, this is not happening again. I am
Yeah.
in control of however my life is going to be. Kind of that promise you made to yourself as a child.
Yeah, so it's a fun segue because when I moved out after we split, I committed to do 2 things every single morning to help me feel better about a daily win.
Mm.
I didn't know where the wins were coming from because my world was rocked so badly where I didn't really know what to do. Other than therapy 3 times a month. Therapy, there's 4 things, sidetrack for a second, 4 things that I think human beings have trouble saying. I'm sorry, I don't know, I was wrong, and the most important thing of all, especially for men, I need help. It was the scariest 3 words that I've ever said, but it was the most powerful and vulnerable that ever helped me kind of grow. I needed help. I saw a therapist, and for 3 years, one thing after another just helped me get to a point where last summer, we got onto a session where we were only seeing each other once a quarter at that point because everything was so good. She's like, dude, you're just wasting my time. You don't need me anymore. So I
I
graduated
love
from
that
therapy.
about her because she was at least honest.
Yeah, she was amazing.
Yeah.
But one of the few things that I did was I would wake up, make my bed, pray.
Mm.
So now going on almost July will be 4 years exactly. So for almost 4 years every single day, going into my morning routine, I wake up, make my bed, pray, and then do a couple other things. But to go back into 2024, so about 2 years after the breakup, I met clients at an open house. Amazing. They're a part of my life today. I'm a part of their family, like go to all the family events. Incredible people. And they're religious. And the husband works for a church that I go to now.
Religious or spiritual?
Very religious.
Okay.
Yeah, religious.
Okay.
Husband works for Skyline Church out in Rancho San Diego.
I love that church.
The wife, they're an amazing family. She has a gospel YouTube channel,
Nice.
which is huge. Shout out to Tyler and Casey. And being in San Diego, I met a lot of people over the years who were like trying to recruit me to their churches. And it was a very big turnoff. Very big turnoff. Not something that I was used to. It was something where I was like,
Ew. Yeah.
no, you sound like a promoter for a club. So it was a big
But it's
turn.
church.
It was a big turnoff to me, right? And I
Yeah.
didn't want to feel like dragged to something.
Of course.
In the conversation, it came up where they worked and what they did and what their life was like. Never once was like, you should come check it out. As they became clients, as I was a part of their life, as I helped them buy their forever dream home, I was like, hey, you guys have been amazing. Would it be okay if I came to check out Skyline? And they're like, yeah, dude. Like, we were never going to ask, but like, because we knew like you didn't want the pressure.
Love that.
So I went and I've been attending Skyline now since November of 2023.
So I love that, number one, because that's a personal relationship,
Yeah.
right? I know the same happened to me when I grew up Catholic, the whole 9 yards, and I felt like, ew, this is too much of a doctrine for me. Like,
Yeah.
I want this to be personal where I don't have to go and do X, Y, and Z in order for God to love me and accept me. It was a very personal thing. But as your story progresses, obviously you've had moments where it ebbs and flows, where you feel closer to God, you don't feel close to God. But the crazy thing is He's always there.
Always.
Right?
And
We are the ones that decide to go, hey, I'll catch you on the other side. I'm going
Yeah.
to try this on my own. Then He laughs at us like, okay, let's see how this goes, right?
Yeah.
I feel like He's a funny God, right? Because I know there's things that I've done in my life where I'm like, why did I do that? And He's like, I don't know. Why did you do that?
and you know
when
what
you're
it is-
done going around that mountaintop, then we'll talk.
yeah, and you
Yeah.
know what it is too? It's funny because we make all these plans about life.
Oh,
We have all these timelines, we have all these
that's the
ideas,
best.
and God just sitting up there laughing. He's like, okay,
Okay, yeah,
whatever
sure.
you say.
Really, that's how that's going to go?
Yeah.
Let's see how this goes.
Right?
That it's the best thing when you can get to a point where you really don't give an F. And that's where I've arrived. And I feel like that's what attracted me to your page and to what you represented, at least on that platform,
Right.
is when there's so much freedom, people, when you can say you have peace when someone else is dysregulated. And when they try to dysregulate your peace, you're ill-faced because you're so regulated in the
Right.
Lord's presence that you just don't care.
Yeah,
There's
and-
something powerful about that.
Yeah, and I think the powerful thing for me of the gap from being Roman Catholic and believing in God and being
Yeah.
a part of all the things, and the gap of not really attending church, and I go to Christian congregation now, and for me it's the power comes in the fact that I know what I'm like when I'm not with God,
Oh, God.
and I know
so
who
good.
I am when I'm with God.
So good. So good. Oh,
And the last couple of years,
that's the soundbite right there, Corbin.
you want to know what's funny? The end of 2024, I committed to 3 things.
Mm,
I haven't drank in about 580 days now.
good for
So
you.
before that point, I was drinking like 1 drink a month.
I feel like you're my version because I'm the same way. It's like, where did you come from? Are
Yeah.
you the male version of me? What's happening here?
So the end of 2024, that previous, like leading up to that, the end of that year, I wasn't really drinking much. Like once a month, maybe 2 drinks a month. And October 2024, I was like, I'm going to stop drinking just for however long I want. Now I'm going on almost 2 years.
Good for you.
I stopped intentionally dating. And when I say intentionally, I mean I stopped seeking out.
Same,
right?
same.
I date intentionally. So when I go on a date, which is very rare, maybe 3 or 4 a year, it's very intentional.
Oh my God, Corbin, this is me. Where did you find this guy on purpose?
But I got off dating apps. I stopped seeking out the dating.
1,000%.
And then the third thing was like, okay, even a bigger commitment to God now. Those 3 things ended my 2024, and 2025 was the best year that I ever had in my life. Ironic. And 2026 is shaping up to beat 2025.
Even better. We're
Right.
on the same trajectory. I love that. When you finally surrender, and you have to get to a pain to purpose moment, which brings me to my next question. We all have that. You've had a few of them. You've had
Many.
right? 2 that I know of, 3 that I know of just in this conversation, and we've been talking for probably 20 minutes. The pain to purpose moment that really made you pivot, what was that?
So again, it is going to be 3, but the major one will be, I would have to say hands down, it's actually 2 that I would put at the top. It would be March 2nd, 2013, when I looked in the mirror and wished I didn't wake up. And then when my fiance left me. Those are the 2 most important pivotal moments of my life.
And given those are very pivotal. What was the commitment you made to yourself then? Most recently with the fiance situation, because that had to have. I know for me, and I'm going to speak from my own experience. 5 years ago, when I became single, that rocked my world.
Yeah.
Because I was raised, you have a family, da 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 da, and I love that idea. I love the relationship notion. I'm better in a relationship, but I'm also very good single. Right? I don't have to be in a relationship. So what commitment did you make to yourself after that was so pivotal that you said to yourself, I'm going to shape myself differently now?
Great question. And I love that question because it's been at the forefront since that day. And the main commitment I made to myself, because again, I mentioned earlier abandonment issues.
Yeah.
And she knew that.
Factored into everything.
And we had a fully planned wedding. So in my head, I'm like, okay, great. This is finally the one who's not going to abandon me in my life. And again, I'm not going to put it on where she abandoned me, but things ended, right? And it brought back all those traumas that I had growing up. And the one commitment I made to myself was I'm going to take everything that I could have been better at. I'm going to take everything that she told me she didn't love anymore. I'm going to take everything that I felt was wrong about me and only focus on fixing that, and nothing else mattered. But at the core of that, the result would be I will never have any abandonment issues ever again, which I no longer do. I will never care about the opinions of others, which I don't. And I will never be a person who is so dependent on the love from other people because I love myself so much that I'm very much at peace and content with where I'm at in life.
Hallelujah for that. Thank you for that, because I feel like more people need to understand that when you go, things aren't happening to you, they're happening for you. And I know it's very cliche-ish, but it really is, because if it made you come from that to where you've arrived and then some, holy crap, all that painful season was actually a gift.
It was very much a gift. And there's two things I talk about is your greatest strengths will come from your biggest struggles.
Oh, so true.
And your greatest power will come from your deepest pain.
10,000%.
And
we have a lot of sound. We have a lot of clips on this
one.
Of
clips. I do think I grew up with a lot of people who great life, never had any issues, never have any struggles. They don't know what struggle is. And when I was younger, I envied them because I wanted to not have a challenging life.
Of course.
Now, knowing the life that I've lived and everything that I've been through and the man I am today, I wouldn't trade the life that I grew up with. Yeah. And it's one of those things where it's like, you also don't know what problems people grow up with.
That's
like,
true.
Outside on the surface looks
That's
great.
true.
But it was something where every breaking point in my life has made my life so great now.
Yeah.
That I'm more grateful for all the bad that's happened in my life
so good.
than all the good that's happened.
So good, right? And that right there is true peace.
Yeah.
If you think about that, right? Because God didn't promise us a problem-free life. He promised that he would be with us during those times. Yeah. It's there for the taking. We are the ones that create those problems because we feel like we're God and we have the power to figure everything out and we can fix this, and because it's part of that control, part of that letting go, right? But for you to actually surrender and see all of this as a gift, and you're even better now, and your issues that once were issues, I would like to say, are probably non-existent.
Correct.
Right? So what was the biggest lesson having that level of faith taught you during that season or during this season?
During the season was, and again, it goes back to like when I was younger, when I got to a point where, like I said earlier, I knew whatever I wanted was going to be 100% on me. The extreme that I took to that was I tried to control everything. And there's a funny lesson I learned when I was younger is humble yourself before life humbles you. And life has humbled me dozens of times.
But that's such a good feeling.
It's a beautiful feeling.
I love that feeling.
And it got to a point where once I finally surrendered to God again and after my breakup, I finally became peaceful knowing that I got to stop trying to control everything. And that lack of control really kind of forced me into a point where it's like, dude, you got to just let things be. And that's why I only focus on the things that I can control, which is improving myself. Right. I can't control the people that come and go.
Right.
I can't control the clients that leave me. I can't control what happens around me. All I can control is who I am, how I try to impact people around me, how I talk to myself and other people, and my internal.
Yeah.
I can't control anything else. Nobody can. So when I became so focused on controlling only the things that I can, I've been at so much peace.
So good. I wish we could bottle this.
It's so peaceful.
Right? And sell it, because it would sell for a lot of money. That's just me, though.
But that's why I talk about so much stuff like with my socials.
Yeah.
Where it's like you get to a level of peace that you've never experienced.
Just don't care.
Just don't care.
And and some people, and I don't know if you get this or not, but I get it a lot. A lot of people, like whether it's a client or friends or potential people who are interested or what have you, they have this thing about, Tammy, you don't care? I go, no, I don't.
Don't.
And you know what? If I don't want to work with you, I'm not going to work with you. If you are not in alignment with how I do business, I'm not going to work with you. Because the way I look at that is you're going to be a time suck.
Right.
And you're going to steal my peace. No, you have to draw the line. And some people, women might feel this way, especially when you're so strong and you've evolved so much. I know I get it from men. They feel very, they're almost, not offended, but they're almost intimidated by the fact that you really don't care.
Yeah, and
they're indifferent.
Correct,
yeah.
Right? And it's saying we don't care is not so much like we don't care about you.
Right.
It's I don't care about the result as long as I'm doing the best I can to put my best foot forward, right? So when it comes to dating, I'm very good at a judgment of character. And I can tell very quickly if we're going to work out or not. And I make that distinction. I don't lead people on. I don't kind of let it marinate. You have that normal conversation as adults should, where it's like, hey, this isn't going to work. I wish you the best of luck, right? But when it comes to a point where it's like, I don't care what people think about me.
Same.
Their opinions aren't paying my bills. They're not going to get me to where I want to go.
That's right.
And I'll tell you what, the people that hate on you and the people that judge you the most, they do not have lives that you admire or want to change with.
And you represent everything in them that they are either A, not willing to work on, or B, are afraid to jump out on that ledge to take a chance to have a better life.
And
So
it's missing in themselves.
and it's a projection, right?
Right.
They're projecting that indifference. But so through all of this, you have become quite successful in your life. You've allowed yourself to have your hiccups along the way, and you've given yourself grace. You've forgiven yourself. You've overcome. You've done these things. Now you've arrived here. You're 35. Yes, you just had a birthday.
I did.
Yes.
March 25th.
Okay.
Just under
And
3
you're
months.
35, correct?
35,
Yeah. Okay. So you are in the business world here in San Diego. Not only do you have a massive platform when it comes to really remaining transparent and authentic, especially with men, but really this journey you're on. I feel like the whole world's on this journey. At least your followers are on this journey with you. How has success? How has that factored into all of this with your real estate business and as an author, because you're an author and you are a Jay Shetty certified, or correct me how,
certified coach, yeah.
coach. So you're doing all these things to better yourself. What's the one thing people assume about your success that's untrue?
You know, that's a funny question, because typically people that get success, and again, success is relative.
Right.
People will look at others that are successful and be like, oh, it must be nice kind of thing. What I can tell you from personal experience, people that know me know what it took to get here. They
Amen.
know what it took to get here. And this has been a 10, 15-year thing, right? So I wouldn't necessarily say it's anything that some people might think it's not as authentic, like when it comes to the social and stuff like that. There are a lot of people out there that will have their thoughts and opinions around what does a coach even do? Like, I don't like the moniker life coach. I truly don't. I think more so of like a personal growth and development coach, because it's a little bit more detailed to each specific person. But again, I haven't truly experienced anything where there's been any kind of judgment or any kind of hatred towards like the level that I'm at.
Right.
People do. I have had a lot of guys who ask on like posts where it's like, why are you dogging men so much? And I don't dog men.
They're not.
A lot of the content's about trying to give men lessons about being better men.
Yeah.
A lot of guys take offense to that.
Yeah.
There's been times where sex wars have started in the comment section on my posts. So I have to sometimes mute my posts. There's no comments.
Yeah.
But again, I can truly honestly say I haven't hit a point where I've received a lot of hate or judgment.
Yeah.
And if it is happening, I'm not paying attention.
You're not, because it's not why you're there.
Yeah.
You're not there for the validation. You're
Yeah,
not there for the comments.
That could be it, right?
Yeah.
For me, to your question, actually, that's a great point. For me, I'd say probably the biggest thing people might think on the outside is more so for validation and like a following. But the number one thing that matters to me the most in life, this is the mantra that I live by. And you could probably find 100 videos online where I've said it. As long as I can positively impact at least one person per day,
Right.
I'm doing my job as a human being. And I believe that's my higher purpose in life, to create as much of an impact as possible. I don't care about the negative comments.
Right.
I don't care if I get a video with one view and one comment and one like, as long as it's positive, it did its job.
It's interesting because my mom, God bless her soul, she passed away in October, but she used to tell me when we were growing up, and I say this all the time, Tammy, there are going to be two types of people who come into your life, drains or faucets. Remember who you are in relation to these people. Either you're a drain or you're a faucet. And that has resonated with me, and that resonates with me in real estate, relationships, the whole 9 yards.
That's powerful.
And it's so true though. Think about that, right? Because our words give life, and whether they're internal dialogue that we're having, we empower that by constantly thinking about it. And you have completely pivoted in everything that you've done.
Yeah, and to kind of going further into like the success thing, right? Like you won't really see me posting much real estate on my socials, because I don't use social to get clients.
Yeah.
I have a lot coming in.
Same.
But I'm very close friends with a lot. I'm celebrating one of the. Well, I actually can't say that out loud. I've celebrated birthdays. I've gone to weddings. I've gone to baby showers.
Same.
I celebrate
You're
with my
intricately
clients,
involved. Yeah.
and they love my
Yeah.
socials, right? So the success route in real estate has kind of taken on a shape of its own.
Yeah.
But it's also because of the environment that I'm in with my current team.
Yeah.
And that's played a huge part of my success in real estate.
So speaking of that, because I know real estate has taught me a lot about people and relationships, what has it taught you? Because dude, the stuff that we go through, it's like, wait, what?
Yeah,
Wait, okay.
for sure.
Yeah.
So I come from hospitality,
Mm,
9 years in hospitality.
mm,
So if you are somebody that's been in hospitality and you actually like and care about
yeah.
people, the transition is very easy.
Yeah.
But for me, real estate is everyone's got that saying, buyers are liars. I don't believe in that. It
Yeah.
is what it is. But at the end of the day, you can't take things personally.
Mm-mm.
You're going to have clients that decide to leave you. You're
Mhm.
going to have clients that you decide to no longer work with.
No emotions.
So from
Yeah.
relationships is the number one most important thing about life itself.
Yeah.
So when it comes to real estate, I live by my ability to cultivate and grow relationships, and that's what's made me successful.
So with that, whether it's in real estate or your personal life, what's one area you're still working on?
Um, It's a great question. With real estate and life, what's one area that I'm still working on?
Or are they intertwined?
They're intertwined, but I would say a little bit of it is I'm a very disciplined person by nature,
Mm,
but there are times where that lacks a little bit.
mm,
So I need to get back to the level of discipline I had for the last 3 or 4 years. Not to where it's gone away from me,
mm.
but it's not as fine tooth comb like to a day day like it used to be. But for everything, I'm working on everything every single day.
We're
You
a
know,
work in
just
progress every
we
day.
are, and
Yeah.
there's never a perfect version of yourself.
No.
It's just always trying to be a better version daily, right? And I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a 1% better every day kind of person
Mm.
because it is what it is.
Mm.
But what I try to focus on more so is being at peace on a daily basis and just still trying to make sure I'm only controlling what I can. Sometimes I find myself trying to control more than I can again, and I have to check myself.
What does peace look like to you?
Peace looks like happiness in your own skin with who
Mm,
you are and where you're at in life, at every level of life,
mm.
knowing that I'm not where I want to be yet in life. I'm very far from it. But the gap from where I am now compared to where I want to be is smaller than
Yeah.
the gap of who I am now compared to who I used to be.
So that can come in different forms, right? That can be
100%.
sitting at the beach, that can be driving in your car, that could be making content because there's
Yeah.
a lot of I feel like there's a lot of peace in that because we were created to serve one another. I really believe that we were put on this earth to be of service.
Agreed.
And for us not to be of service, whether you like that person or people or not, doesn't matter. You're
Agreed.
here to serve. So you wrote a book. I know that you don't feel like you don't like calling it authoring a book. You call it creating. And it's called The 30-Minute Morning for
Yes.
those of you who are interested. I kind of showed it earlier. And you can get this on Amazon.
Can get it on Amazon.
So what do you hope people will take away from this book? And I'm very excited to dive in this, but what do you hope people will take away from this?
It's a great question. So I've been asked that a lot. And here's what I will say the types of people this book is for. It's for people that are struggling with discipline. It's people that are struggling with a structured daily routine. It's people struggling in any part of life where they don't know where to start. They know that they need to do something, they don't know where to start. And honestly, it's for people who just want to get back to some kind of morning flow.
Structure.
Structure. A
Yeah.
lot of people wake up and they have this whole to-do list that's never ending and stuff like that, right? So kind of going back to after my breakup,
Mm.
I stuck to waking up, making my bed, praying. Then it went to
Such a great life.
waking up, making my bed, praying, reading.
Mm.
Then it went to those three things plus adding a journal entry every
Mm.
day. And for the last almost 4 years, that's been my morning every single day. I even now that I have the book, I take that with me on trips.
Really?
So I always have some kind of journal entry per day.
Wow.
So about 3 years ago, for my team, Dean Aguilar Group here in San Diego, we talked about resolutions going into 2023.
Mm.
So what I did was I started DAG Fit Camp. People talked about they want to get back into shape. They want to focus on health. So I started for the team where every Saturday I would host a body
God, I
workout,
love that.
a
That's
hit
good.
body workout that lasted for the year. Going into 2024, people wanted to focus on social media. So we created a podcast room at our office, and I created a podcast for the team to help them with social media. Towards the middle of this past summer, like about a year ago, we were talking a lot about discipline, structure, routine. And I was like, what can I do for the team now? And then I was like, wait a minute. What can I do for myself that's going to be long lasting, scalable, and also for the team? So then I took my typical morning routine, which is now wake up, make my bed, I pray, I read for 5 to 10 minutes, I do breath work on my balcony, I edit in red light therapy,
Mm.
and then I took the journal, created my own journal, and then I end the day with journal.
Nice.
And I do a little bit of stretching in between too.
Nice.
And that takes me typically 30 minutes all together. And the focus is around 4 pillars. I'm a very big proponent that the first 30 to 60 minutes of your day are the most important.
10,000%.
The most important. It really sets up your day for success.
10,000%.
And it starts with your mindset, right? So the 4 pillars I focus on in that book is your mindset, your movement, your mission, your goals for the day, and momentum, right? And the reason why I laid out it 30 minutes is because it can be done very quickly,
Right.
and then you can actually start your day. So
Right.
I'll go through my process, I'll go through my journal, and then I leave for the gym.
Right.
And what I want people to take away from it is it's a 90-day challenge for yourself to get back the discipline that you've lost or to re-hone in on the discipline that you're lacking like I have been lately.
Right.
And that kind of it gets me out of the lack of discipline. So it's really for people that struggle with discipline, structure, and they really just want to kind of take control of their mornings and control their habits and ultimately hopefully control their life.
Isn't that interesting that you have, but it's almost like you're the student in your own
My own world.
teaching,
Yeah.
right? You've created this and you are your own student,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool.
It's really cool because I was like my own test pilot, right?
I say my own science project, but yeah.
And it's really cool to see how, like, I originally started out with a 6-month book. I was like, that's crazy. That's insane. But what it's turned into has been pretty special.
Yeah.
There's a trainer out in Australia who's bought it for her clients. I have people in the UK that have bought it. I have people in Canada that have bought it.
Yeah.
Along with like every single one of my personal growth coaching clients that I
Yeah.
have, they get one for free.
That's so cool.
It's part of the program that they sign up
So you're
for.
helping so many people and you don't even know just how far the reach is.
I'm trying to.
You are.
And thank
It's
you.
here.
And
It's
thank
here.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
here.
it's very humbling. I try to stay humble every step of the way. But the biggest thing for me, the messages I get on a daily basis from my content, from the book, from messages I send to people, it really makes everything so worth it. And my fulfillment comes from the impact I make on other people. And if I can just continuously do something on a daily basis, annual basis, where I'm providing so much value, even if it's just to one person,
Yeah.
then it's worth it.
You've made the difference. So why did you choose, or maybe you didn't know you were doing this? So when it comes to your social media and speaking, I feel like your content speaks directly to men. Why that approach? Because as a woman, and I see your content and I read it and I listen and and then I see the comments from other women that are, and I'm sure you probably get hit on social media like crazy because of
That's
this.
one way to put it.
Right? Because of the content you're putting out there. These women are, so the air of desperation is so thick.
Yeah.
Right? But why are you speaking to men? What is it about your journey? And I would do the same thing too, but why?
Yeah. So it's a good question. It's a valid question too. And here's what I'll say is I'm a man who seeks other women. I'm not going to speak to women on how to treat men. That's something where,
Right.
again, I do believe everybody has a voice and what you choose to do with it is your gift.
Right.
But I've also learned enough. I was raised predominantly by women. My dad was a part of my life still is today. Like he was around all the time. But for the most part, I was raised by 7 to 8 women of an Italian family.
Whoa.
Other than my mom. She's not Italian at all, but love her.
Yeah.
So, kind of growing up, I said earlier, my grandmother's the reason why I am the man I am today, for the most part.
Right.
And after my breakup, going through therapy, focusing all the things that are important to me, and then getting back into the dating world
Oof.
and seeing what that was like
Ugh.
and how horrifying it is on both
So
sides of the
bad.
fence.
It's just so bad.
What I wanted to do was just help put out supporting messages for men to understand there's a way to be a better man. And there's a difference between the nice guy and the good man.
Big time.
And back in October, when I really started pushing a lot of this content towards men, what I didn't expect was it to be more so 70% women dominated in the engagement and the comments and
Amazing.
the DMs.
It's amazing.
And what slowly started to happen was women kind of flocking to a lot of my content was like, yes, praise Jesus, like, thank you, tell all these men. But at the same time, it was also like, women need to understand there needs to be alignment and synergy as well. And you can only do so much to help people.
That's right.
And I think we're in an era where this will kind of ruffle some feathers, but we are in the softest era of masculinity ever.
I love it.
Ever.
I absolutely love it.
And I know 99% of women out there will agree with me. I think it's everybody's job to help make everyone better.
Yep.
And the people that use their voices to really do so are the ones that make the impact. And, on this little bit of a mission where it's like, let's make men men again.
Yeah.
Whatever that looks like for each and every man is different. But at the same time, I think part of the messaging too is I'm a man who was broken,
Oof.
like to the core, and built myself back up. And men need to understand that it's okay to break and build yourself back up. It's okay to feel. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be authentic. It's okay to ask for help. And it's okay to not have to do everything on your own. You don't need to do that.
I'm so glad that you have this platform because I feel like men don't have that safe place to go, whether it's, in social media world. I can guarantee you there are men that are just trolling your page.
Yeah, and there are,
Yeah.
and there's people that I'll get some nasty DMs once in a while, but I don't really care about
It
those.
doesn't
But
matter.
I do want to touch on something of why it's important for men to be okay with asking for help.
Yeah.
It's June. It's
Mm-hmm.
Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. And 3 weeks ago, I have a friend back in New Jersey who committed suicide. He was one of the brightest lights
Mm.
on the face of this earth. The biggest smile, the most fun guy to be around, and somebody who you could be having the worst day of your entire life. If you saw him, you're having the best day.
Wow.
And nobody would know this person would go and commit suicide until we all woke up to find out that he did. And it's one of those things where you would never understand what people are going through without checking in on
Right.
people. And the message is clear and it's simple. It's okay to ask for help.
So
And more men and women need to be doing that on a daily basis.
I agree. And I feel like if you can just get out of your own way, right? I think it's our ego and
Yeah.
our sense of control. I'm sorry for that.
Thank you.
If your younger self were sitting in the room with us right now, what would you tell him?
You know, it's a funny question because
I love that question.
on the podcast that I host over at the office, one of the last questions I asked him is, if your 18-year-old self was in front of you right now, what would you ask them? And for me, man, I love that kid. I love that kid for everything that he endured and what he had to go through and what he was able to come out on the other side with. From an advice perspective, it's one, keep going. Two, accept life for as it's being thrown at you, but most importantly, it's ask for help sooner than you do.
That seems to be the theme. Just ask for help.
Ask for help sooner than you do, and it's okay to not be okay.
I love being in that space, to be honest. I love not being okay because there's something about being raw and feeling everything. Doesn't matter what anybody says or does, because that's when you truly are, the real work is there,
Yeah,
right? Some rapid fire questions before we wrap it up.
let's do it.
Morning routine or evening routine?
Morning.
Faith or fear?
Faith.
Best advice you've ever received?
Best advice I've ever received: humble yourself before life humbles you.
One habit you'll never skip?
My morning routine.
Okay. What's harder, building a business or building yourself?
Building yourself.
Discipline or motivation?
Discipline.
Oh, for sure. I already knew that one. One word that describes this season of your life? Ooh.
Grateful.
Ugh. One thing people misunderstand about you?
You know, that question is hard because I'm very clear about like what I'm very big on, so people understand a lot about me.
That someone's going to be in the gray area.
Yeah, someone's always going to be in the gray area. It's the best thing about me is my heart.
What are you most grateful for today?
The people that I have in my life.
5 years from now, we're going to, and these are always tricky questions. What do you hope people say about the man you've become, not the success you've achieved?
5 years from now. Repeat the question.
What do you hope people say about the man you've become, not the success you've achieved? 5 years from, so you'll be 40.
Yeah, I'll be 40.
Ha! Wow, that puts it in perspective.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy actually.
The man you've become,
The
not
man
the
I've become.
success you've achieved. Or are they synonymous?
The main thing I would hope for, and this is for in perpetuity for the rest of my life, is that I hope people can look at me, whether they know me or don't, and said that guy's impacted my life. That's the number one thing I care about.
So, the moral of the story for those of you watching or listening, especially if you're a man, is it's okay to ask for help. In fact, ask for help. The platform that Louis has created, if you haven't already followed him, follow him. Louis, what's your Instagram?
Instagram is at Louis_Pisano.
He's an amazing realtor. Of course, as a fellow realtor, we can always give each other compliments, but he's an amazing realtor, and he's an amazing human being. Follow him if you're a man. Follow him if you're a woman. The transparency, the authenticity, the extreme state of vulnerability that this man exudes, regardless of what he's been through, and in fact, because of what he's gone through, resonates with everyone. So the takeaway for me today is this: always stay true to yourself. Do the hard work. make commitments to yourself, keep these commitments to yourself, because out of all of that, there is beauty that comes out of these ashes day in and day out. So for those of you who want the book, I have my free copy. Go to Amazon, reach out to me, reach out to Louis. Start the 30-minute morning, you guys. 30 minutes. It might take you 5 minutes, for crying out loud, but start something. Commit to yourself, because if you want that life that you're saying you want and you're creating vision boards about, you have to take the steps. You have to do the work. Louis, thank you so much for coming on today. I feel like I interviewed myself, but that's okay. Where else can they reach you?
Main right now is Instagram, TikTok as well,
Yep.
at Louis_Pisano_, Facebook. But for the most part, Instagram is where I'm eating, sleeping, breathing. And then louispisano.com will be going live by the end of June.
And if they want to work with you in terms of the coaching, because you're a Jay Shetty certified coach, how do they reach out to you?
Yeah, just reach out to me. Send me a DM on Instagram.
Perfect.
I respond to almost every single DM unless there's derogatory verbiage. But for the most
Unless
part,
you're a bot.
For the most part, everybody gets a response to my DMs.
All right, guys, you have no excuses. My men who are out there, you have no excuses now. You've been asking for me to bring on men and talk about men, and we did it. So, as always, San Diego, stay true to yourself, keep those commitments, honor the contracts you make to yourself. Peace out.